briefly-ish talk about nutrition. And like I said in my other video, you can lift as much as you want, but if you don't have proper nutrition, you're not gonna progress. It's the foundation of, well, frankly, how you're gonna be performing in the gym and how you're gonna be progressing in the gym. I would say it's 60%. No, I'm gonna say 75% of your fitness. Absolutely, 75%. You can put all the work you want in the gym. If you're not eating correctly, you're not gonna get anywhere. And obviously, if you don't lift right and you eat well, I mean, you're gonna feel great, but you're not gonna see as much progress in the gym. So obviously both are important, but yeah, I'll give it a 75-25 ratio. And I also talked about intermittent fasting before, and so I'm gonna use that as an example, how to structure your day. If you don't want to use intermittent fasting, obviously structure it different in your head, but how I'm gonna go about it is talking about it in a typical day, structured, say for when I cut, what I eat, and kind of the foods that are along that same baseline. And the bad thing about cutting, which to me, it doesn't bother me that much because it makes it easier for me to cook meals and plan my week as far as shopping, is you're eating a lot of the same stuff week to week. It doesn't sound fun, but if you enjoy the food, I like food in general, so I don't complain ever. But if you're good at cooking, which should be a life skill anyway, they should learn. You eat the same meals, but you like how they taste. It doesn't really drive you that crazy. So week to week, I have, for my proteins for dinner, I'll have salmon, lean beef, steak, which you can make tacos with. You can make burgers, fish tacos, fish sandwiches, or just salmon with like a baked potato and broccoli. But anyway, okay, I'm just gonna dive into it. So, going on another tangent, like I always do. So say you quit eating at 8 o'clock at night. Your next day, you're breaking your fast at noon. What I do, and what you should go off of, is, I might have described this in another video, but I'll have almonds, an apple, banana, Greek yogurt, maybe chicken depending on the day. Probably like chicken, 4 to 6 ounces. I'll cook it in oil, some good seasoning, or maybe put a little bit of sauce on it. You want to be careful with sauces. They can sneak up with you. If you do use sauces, measure it out, because it's very important, because not only can the calories sneak up on you, but the byproduct of a lot of sauces is sugar. And you're thinking, what about sodium? Sodium's for another time. Sodium is awesome. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, unless you have blood pressure issues. And obviously sodium's not awesome. But if you're an average person who's going to the gym and working out all the time, you need your sodium. So don't worry about that. Use all the seasonings that you need. There, I'm going on a tangent. Sorry about that. I got so many things running through my mind that I want to tell you guys that I just so often start splurging out a bunch of information. I can't stay on track. But back to getting on track. So that'll run to about 500 to 600 calories. Just thinking about it off the top of my head. So when I'm cutting, well, at my normal weight, I'm not at my normal weight right now. I'm way underweight, unfortunately. But my normal weight, I'd be cutting around 2,000 to 2,100 calories. So that leaves me with another 1,500 to 1,600 calories for the day. And then I have dinner. And my go-to meal is definitely steak, sweet potato, and steamed broccoli, without a doubt. And I cook it up in coconut oil. I'll dip the sweet potato in coconut oil, I'll cook up in the wedges, and then throw it in the oven, or just pop it in the microwave with a pad and just slap some light butter on there. Regardless, cook the steak in coconut oil too, and then dip the broccoli in the steak juice. Tastes nice and tasty, nice and salty too. So to me, that's awesome. I'm a huge steak lover. I can eat it every day if I wanted to. That's how much I love it. So, I look for sirloin. or any kind of leaner steak. You don't want to be going too fatty. And yeah, there's some sirloin's not too pricey. There's a couple below that also is an option. Maybe not as tasty, but still gets the job done. And then, so that runs me, depending on how big the steak is. I like getting like a 12-ounce steak. And then sweet potato wasn't very many calories. Coconut oil is a little bit. You gotta take that into account too. If you're cooking with coconut oil or any kind of oil, don't forget that. Broccoli is basically non-existent. Like it's like 25 calories for a cup or something. I don't even know. I hardly even account for it because I only have usually a cup or two with dinner. So now we're sitting at about between, I would say, 17 and 1800 calories. So it leaves me roughly 300 left. Maybe even 400 now I think about it. And that's a lot. That's a pretty sustainable meal right there. For me anyway. A 12-ounce steak, it's a good chunk of meat. Because protein, nothing fills you up like protein. And then there's obviously, you're getting all your carbs pretty much for breakfast, lunch, your first meal of the day. And then you get a lot of protein in this meal. You get your protein in our meal too, but you get a lot in this one too. I'll talk about protein more later. I was just about to do it. But that's for another video about protein timing and protein intake. Bust some myths. Don't go on a tangent. And so, lost my train of thought. Where was I? It's on steak. That's right. So you can replace that with salmon or the problem with making burgers or tacos is you gotta take into account obviously the buns or the shells. So you may have to sacrifice, you may have to have a smaller potato and maybe not put it in coconut oil or eat the potato with only a little bit of light butter. You gotta be careful. You can't not take into account everything that you're eating. Everything has to be tracked. And if you're wondering how to track your calories, I have my program as well. MyFitnessPal is awesome. It records everything that you put in. So then eventually, when you put enough foods in, we've been using it long enough, it is all safe for you. So then you're just like, start typing it in and it's like, oh, yeah, that's one of my meals. And then it pops up for you. So some days it'll take 30 seconds to input what you wanted to eat that day. I even pre-record my week sometimes. That's a little methodical, maybe a little intense, but I've sat down on a Sunday, put in what I'm gonna eat for the week, and then go grocery shopping. To me, that's the easiest way to go about it. Because if you already know what you're gonna eat, and you're already gonna have, I like to only have what I'm gonna eat for that week. Now, obviously, that's not an option for some of you if you're living with other people, but I live by myself right now, so that is an option for me, and that makes things extremely easy. There's no temptation. So if you have trouble with willpower and having chocolate in the closet when you know you'll eat it, then don't put it in there. But again, that comes to the last meal is, I consider a meal, 300 to 400 calories is something you enjoy. I have a sweet tooth, so I always have something sweet. Usually like a special dark Hershey's bar or some sort of special dark chocolate. Because dark chocolate has benefits of its own, but that keeps me sane. And I'll have that with a small glass of almond milk. Almond milk doesn't have a lot of calories, and I love almond milk, especially the vanilla almond. Stuff's good to me. Maybe not to you, but if you can, maybe if you like regular milk, fit a little bit of regular milk. And that keeps me sane. Maybe you love chips. Maybe you really love salt. Have a bag of chips, a nice big bag of, medium-sized bag of chips. That's 400 calories. You want to be able to do this consistently, depending on how much you need to lose for 2 to 3 months. And again, you need to incorporate, sorry about that. You need to incorporate refeed days. On those refeed days, you have cheat meals. So it's not like you're eating purely healthy for a couple months. I would say once, maybe twice a week when you do those refeed days, go get a pizza. Go get some McDonald's, but stay in your calories, obviously. What I like to do on my refeed days is eat very minimal. Say for lunch, have just like 6 ounces of chicken. That's like what, 200 calories or something like that. Maybe like an extra 50 with the oil that's cooked in. And that leaves me, usually refeed days like 2,900 for me. So I still got 2,600 calories to spare, roughly. I'll order a whole pizza, a whole large pizza or medium pizza from Domino's or something like that. And like 2,600 calories. And I smash it. And I love it. That's me. If I can do that twice a week, how would I not lose weight, you know? Like, as long as you can still enjoy life while you're cutting, makes it effortless. So again, like I said, cutting, it's a mind game. So nutrition is obviously a big part of that. And so that basically framework I laid out for you, if you can eat 75% healthy, you know, which is the lunch and dinner, treat yourself. The 25%, have the bag of chips. Have that chocolate bar. Have that ice cream. Don't deprive yourself of that stuff. You don't have to be strict. I don't care what anyone says. If you're just trying to cut fat, that's your goal. Calories in versus calories out. And if you have that chocolate bar, it's not gonna hurt you that much. If you have that ice cream, it's not gonna hurt you that much because you're eating so healthy for the rest of the day that the only bad sugar you're gonna have is from that last 400 calories. It's not gonna do that much damage. As long as you stay within your calories, it's calories in versus calories out. Simple as that. So some other options, like I said, for protein is like salmon, lean beef. There is other options too. I could go on forever, but baked potatoes and sweet potatoes are a great carbohydrate that I like to put with dinner. Broccoli is always a great option that I love. Also kale. I don't know how you feel about veggies, but you don't have to put that in there if you don't want to. But sweet potatoes and baked potatoes have good nutrients that are important for health. So I would suggest putting that in there at least. And also steak has great nutrients as well for our muscles building. So great amino acid profile on that in steak. So you don't have to look that far into your nutrition. You don't have to look at nutrients. Pretty much as long as you're eating healthy food, you're going to be getting those nutrients. You don't have to pay attention to that much detail. And another great thing about MyFitnessPal is the food that you put in, it records your macros and it records the majority of nutrients. So if you're curious, you just go slide over to nutrients and see, you know, what am I looking at right now? What did I put? How many, or how much sodium did I have today? How much sugar did I have today? How much magnesium did I have today? You know, it records all that. It's awesome, down to a T. And also, obviously, like I said, like the macros, this is what I want to finish on. Macros can vary a little bit. When you're cutting, I would say, people like to argue on this point, but I'm gonna say 40% carbs, 30% protein, and 30% fat, or 45% carbs, 30% protein, and 25% fat. You're thinking all that carbs, most of that carbs? Yeah. Calories in versus calories out, man. Doesn't matter if you have 250 carbs in a day. It's calories in versus calories out. You need the energy to lift. You need the energy to perform and keep your muscles full. And on those refeed days, you're looking at like 300, 350 grams of carbohydrates. Don't deprive yourself of carbs. It's nonsense. Nonsense. And you need fat for your hormones, your hormone levels. Very important. And obviously, protein is huge. You know that already. 0.8 grams per pound of body weight. You don't need more than that. Research has shown that you don't need more than that. You don't need more than one. You don't need one even. People say when you cut, you have to have more than 1 gram per pound of body weight. No. If you're getting your carbs and your fat, no, you don't. So, simple as that. MyFitnessPal tracks the macros. So you can, if if you want to pre-record what you're going to put in for the week or put in for the day, you can see, hey, am I going to be hitting my macros if this is what I want to eat? Yes or no? Okay, just adjust a little bit. And you know, it takes a few weeks, but once you get into it, everything just becomes so streamlined that you don't even need to try anymore after a while. I haven't used MyFitnessPal in, I don't even remember, last winter maybe? Because I just got so dialed in, and I just know that, okay, if this is what I eat today, I know I'm going to be at like 2,100 calories or 2,000 calories. Like, it just becomes part of life. I actually count calories more when I lean bulk than when I cut, because cutting is so easy that I know what I need to eat. Lean bulking, on the other hand, if I have to have 2,900 calories, you don't want to have too much. So you start you don't want to overbulk, so you kind of start flirting with too much food. So it's actually, to me, it's harder to lean bulk than cut as far as tracking what I'm eating and how much I'm eating, which probably doesn't sound right, but I feel like it'll be the same for you once you get into it. Next, I'll probably be talking about, actually, I'm not sure what I'm talking about next. Maybe I'll talk about proper warm-ups and stretching, how important that is, but we'll see. So nutrition, don't overthink it. It's pretty simple. MyFitnessPal is awesome. That's it.